Well, I'm out for a ride on my 701. Thought I would stop and maybe shoot a quick video. I was kind of thinking about some of the things I've done to this bike since I bought it. It's a 2021, bought it in 2021. One of the only new bikes I've ever purchased. Usually I buy them used, save some money, and then I don't feel too bad about selling them and losing too much, but I had to have a new one. I have a friend who had one. I really enjoyed his. His was the Supermoto version. Mine's the Enduro, obviously. And unfortunately, his engine went bad almost immediately. He had a lot of fighting with the dealer he bought it from. They rebuilt the engine twice. The thing still wouldn't stay together. Every oil change was full of metal and other debris. So he finally unloaded it and got into a Yamaha, and he won't buy another European bike. I've had no problems with this one. I love it. This is one of my favorite bikes I've ever owned. I'm trying to see how much. I've got almost 10,000 miles on it, and knock on wood, haven't really had a problem at all. The only problem that I've had, which was self-induced, was when I replaced the bearing for the shifter with a ceramic one that was supposed to help with false neutrals. And when I had the side cover off the engine to get to that bearing, I didn't realize it, but if you turn on the key, then your neutral position gets reset. And sorry, there's a train going by. The dealer has to re-zero that. So I did have to bring it into them. And unfortunately, it's still not perfect. And I occasionally have issues where it thinks the bike's not in neutral when I put the kickstand down, and it shuts the engine off. So I may have to try again getting that calibration done. But again, that was self-induced. If I would not have turned the key on when that cover was off and messed with it, and really the whole thing was I was showing somebody my lights that came with this rade tower. That's what screwed it up. Otherwise, I don't think I would have had this problem. But since buying it, obviously I added the rade garage tower. That is such a nice addition. The lights are much better. It gives me some wind protection. Surprisingly good wind protection. I can take this on the highway, do high speeds, and I am not getting beat up by the wind. It's kind of amazing what that little windscreen does. The lights look really cool, and they put out a lot more light than the factory one did, and I feel much better riding. I don't ride at night normally, but when I do, or if it's real early in the morning, I can see much better. People can see me much better. So I think that was a good investment. The newer version of this is carbon fiber. This one's metal, and carbon would save some weight. I kind of wish I would have done that, but this was an open box item that I bought from them, so it was considerably less money than just buying a brand new one, and especially less money than buying one that was in carbon. I put the AXP skid plate on it, which is kind of a plastic, polymer, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't use that if I were out in the desert bashing on rocks, or if I were bashing this thing over logs, but I don't ride it like that. So it's very quiet, and it does what I need. I did buy the Seat Concept seat for this. It's the tall comfort seat, and it's much flatter than the factory seat. If you have shorter legs, it may not work for you. It does work really well for me. I find this seat to be extremely comfortable, and I think it looks really cool too. For luggage, I bought this P-Run Moto rack that fits into, there's some threaded spots on the subframe, and you have to drill the plastic, which is conveniently marked from the inside. You just have to get all the plastic off, and you can drill it out, mount this thing on. Fits really well, and this Wolfman bag really fits nicely on this rack. Wolfman has excellent customer service. I had a problem with the bag. That was my own fault in the end. I didn't realize it. I left the bag with tools on the bike, had it on my trailer for a few hundred miles in the rain, and the bag filled up with water and the tools tore up the interior of the bag. And I exchanged email with the owner, and he explained that he really expects the rider to be in front of the bag when you're riding in the rain, deflecting a lot of the rain that hits it. It does have these nice zippers, but apparently being on the highway for 3 hours in the rain was too much for these, and it did get water in it. He sent me this new bag for free, including shipping, which was pretty awesome. I think it's excellent customer service, and I really like this bag for this bike. It fits real well. And you can probably see my gas cap here. The factory gas cap has a key. It's known to get gunked up and get stuck, and I've seen so many keys that have broken off in the lock, and then riders are screwed because they can't start their engine because the key snapped off. I don't park it anywhere where I'm worried about gas theft, so this is an awesome solution for me. Don't have to ever worry about that. The factory exhaust is huge, heavy. It runs really hot. I've seen a lot of bikes where the plastics have started turning yellow from heat. They get really hot. So the Wings exhaust runs much cooler. It's much lighter. Looks better. Sounds a lot better. It's a win for me. And I got this carbon guard here for my leg that prevents my pants from getting melted. And yeah, this thing sounds great. I have the quieter of the two inserts in the end. I tried the loud one. It was just too loud for my taste. I rode it through my neighborhood and everybody's heads were turning. Not really what I want. I don't want to disturb people. I think this is a good balance of just enough sound to make it fun and trying to be a respectful neighbor. And then I did put an Oberon slave cylinder on this clutch. I didn't have any trouble with mine, but I've read too many stories about them going bad, and I didn't want to mess with it. So I preemptively put one on my 1190 Adventure and on this bike. And while I had that out, I also put this front sprocket cover on, which I think looks kind of cool. The stock plastic one, it's just kind of boring. So I threw that on there. I like it. And then I put a Super Sprox rear sprocket on here with a gold chain, mainly for looks. I think it looks awesome. No other reason than that. Another thing I did was remove the charcoal canister and install this Rottweiler block off, and that has helped with any kind of backfiring or anything like that. Removed a little weight from the bike. I don't need that crap on here, so I'm just using that. And so far so good. This thing runs great. I'm not at high elevation. I live near Chicago, so if I ever get up in the mountains, I may need to add a tuner to get a little more fuel. I think it's kind of lean programming from the factory. And I am considering taking this bike out to Colorado and do some of the Alpine passes, and I probably would need to get a tuner for that. I've heard good things about the Kuber ECU and Power Commander, so I don't know which way I'll go. Of course, nice bark busters on here, protect my hands, and I love these double take mirrors. They just use a ram ball on each end. Simple thumb screw. You loosen it up, you can adjust it. If you ever knock this mirror into anything, it just moves out of the way and you just put it back. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a lifetime warranty on these things for braking. So can't beat that. And then obviously I've got my Garmin here. The Rade tower gives you a nice mounting bar. and the Garmin clamps around it with this, and I ended up, because I was having trouble with the Garmin losing its power connection to the cradle, I came up with these rubber isolators that I found online. So they have a threaded hole, I think it's brass on each end, and the middle is just rubber. So they can flex, and even though this is a very smooth engine for a thumper, this takes up much of the vibration, and I've not had any other issues with the power being intermittent. If you've never seen one, it's just these two little pins that match up to these, and with all the vibration it was kind of intermittent, and my Garmin would lose power and then regain power. Very frustrating when I'm on a trip and I'm trying to navigate. So that did seem to help. Looks like one of them is showing some cracks right here. I don't know if you can see that. So maybe that's from all the flexing that these do. So I'll have to find my receipt, maybe order 4 more of these and freshen this up. I think it's been maybe 3 years that I've had them on here. So I think that's really it. Just thought I'd take a little break here on my ride, talk about my bike a little bit. My Gold Wings are hibernating for the winter, so I've got my 701 and my 1190 available when I get a decent day like today. You can see there's snow, most of it melted. We had a ton of snow a couple weeks ago. It's 2 days after Christmas right now, and I believe tomorrow it's supposed to rain all day and then get cold again. So this may be it for a little while, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can.